Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. This is actually going to be a response video to Vinyl Collector James. James's 1,000 subscribers contest. I was popping through some videos a little while ago and I saw Shannon did a response to it. And I was like, oh, James has a contest. And I kind of followed it back and discovered his 1,000 subscribers contest. I've been a subscriber for quite some time too, and which is also kind of weird. Maybe someone can help me figure out if I haven't done something in my settings or something like that, because I'm subscribed to so many people in the VC, but yet when I do the whole, click open and recent videos pop up, there's only like one or two people whose videos regularly pop up in terms of like a new video being posted. So I don't know maybe what I'm doing there, but excuse me. Anyway, I'm glad I did find your contest video, James. And of course, first and foremost, congratulations on the 1,000 subs. Um, I mean, just like a lot of the great people in the VC that have been around here for quite some time. I mean, I think you actually deserve a heck of a lot more than that. Definitely love your videos. You have an amazing collection. I mean, there's so many things I want out of your collection. It's not even funny. And just love your stuff, man. So definitely want to make sure that I paid my respects and congratulated you and jumped in on your contest. So let me kind of jump right into it. I'm glad you had kind of 5 straight to the point questions, not necessarily all the easiest ones in the world, but this of course is always everything as of today. If I do a video for these same questions 2 days from now, half the answers could be totally different. But first question was, what is kind of the biggest grail that you have out there in front of you, like the one thing that you would really, really want to bring into your collection? You know, it's really funny because when I started watching your video, excuse me, I started getting ideas in my head about what I was going to do before I even heard your questions on your video. And one of the things that I thought about doing was kind of, making like a sarcastic joke thing about how, I like your channel, but I have issues with you because there were some items in your collection that I really wanted, and unless you ever gave them to me, I don't think I could really fully love your channel. Like, I was thinking about that type of sarcastic, funny thing before your question came about, and so the album that I had in my mind is actually, as far as a grail that I would love to have, is one that you have in your collection that you've shown before, and I think I've even made comments to you about how much I wanted it. So kind of funny, your first question hit my thoughts as before, um, since I started watching your video. And so what that album is the Sundays, and this is Static and Silence. I would love to have this on vinyl. Would so love to have that. And I said, I know you have a copy of it, and you showed it. That might have been, geez, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, 2 years ago, or something like that, when you showed that, and we had a little back and forth about it or whatever. But yeah, that is an album I would love to have on vinyl. I know they just did a reissue of Blind for this previous record store day, and I didn't get a copy of it. And I was really wanting to get a copy of it, but then I started to also kind of realize, really the only reason I want a copy of it is because it's the Sundays, not because I think it's their best album or anything. And it's one step closer to owning a copy of Static and Silence, even though it's not really even the same thing. But like, my desires to kind of look for that album, Blind, was because of how bad I wanted this album. So um, yeah, that's one I really, 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 really want. So that would be the one grail that would so be on my radar right now. Moving along to number 2, the good old-fashioned desert island question. What album would you be forced to take? That's always a different one and can change from time to time. And I'm assuming, of course, that we can't have greatest hits and stuff like that. So I'll try to eliminate that. But if I had to choose an album, and again, you guys have seen me use this as an answer to quite a few thread questions, I'm going with Billy Idol's Rebel Yell once again. Now, why would I choose this album for a desert island? This album has, not only do I like all the songs on the album, which I think is first and foremost kind of important. If you're going to have one album, you better really like every single song on there, which I do with this one. But I think Billy Idol's Rebel Yell is one of the more versatile albums as well, where you know, you have stuff like Rebel Yell, which is a little more, you know, kind of upbeat rock and roll kind of thing in an 80s way, but still it's a little more upbeat rock and roll. Then you have Daytime Drama, which is more of a kind of a synthy groove, slow groove kind of thing, slower groove kind of thing. And then when you go to Eyes Without a Face, of course, it's kind of like, you know, the vintage new wave, not ballad, but I mean, you guys know Eyes Without a Face. And then you go with Blue Highway, which is much more of a, you know, upbeat type of thing, where you may actually find guitar rhythms that may be a little more, you know, 60s, 70s rock kind of thing. And then Flesh for Fantasy, Catch My Fall, Crank Call, Do Not Stay in the Shadows goes back up to that more upbeat thing. And then The Dead Next Door, which is kind of a just a creepy, I don't even know how you describe that song. It's not even really a, there's no beat to it or anything. It's really more of an emotional type of song. So the reason I would pick Billy Idol's Rebel Yell is because I think this is the one album that could keep kind of so many different elements of rock music available in one album, where it's not just, you know, all metal beating down your face all the time, or it's not just all you know, like Sade's Love Deluxe is a fantastic album from front to back. But could you listen to Sade do Sade day in and day out for the rest? Like, that would just be like enough. But I think this is the album that would kind of give you enough of a blend of all those different levels, speeds, and, you know, rock nature and mellow nature and everything else. So that's why I would pick Billy Idol Trouble Yell. So moving right along. What's the next one here? It is, oh, if you had to take a road trip. Say, and I'm thinking about this again as of today, because again, this is one that could be, would definitely change on a regular basis. I did want to do an honorable mention on the road trip one, just because this is an album that I recently, when I was on the road, listened to quite a bit. Um, you know, I had my iPod on shuffle, and then when this came up, I actually went through and started listening to all the individual songs and really kind of jammed out to it. And it's a, so honorable mention, I want to put out there Miguel, Kaleidoscope Dream. Okay, for those of you maybe that don't know this particular album, I mean, but Miguel, in my opinion, is, especially on this album, maybe not his other stuff, but certainly on this one, he's kind of like an a little more R&B version of a Prince. Um, it's, you know, the stuff on here, there's a lot of very simple things, you know, not very complex, but he just really completely grabbed the emotion of what he was trying to pull through the music, and with his voice and his delivery, he just kind of kept it simple and just really great stuff. One of the few more modern day R&B albums that I actually love, because I'm not a huge fan of modern day R&B at all. But this is a great one, I think 2012. But again, honorable mention, I had to put that out there because I recently did jam out to that one on the road. But if I was going to go somewhere tonight and had to throw something in the car, this is probably what I would go with. Would be Steely Dan, The Royal Scam. Probably my favorite Steely Dan album. I love this album from front to back. And it's really weird because outside of Kid Charlemagne, I don't think there's not a song, there are not songs on here that I think are just the most incredible whatever, but song for song, back to back, just from beginning to end, the album is fantastic. And it's really weird too. I don't know how I got there with this album, to not think it's so special and yet think it's so special at the same time. But it's my favorite Steely Dan album. So that would be my road trip album. Now, if we're talking about road trip songs and making a compilation tape, oh yeah, then we're going, you know, that's when we start going to 10,000 Maniacs and the Sundays and, you know, that type of stuff. But that's where we'll go this time on that one. What's the next question? Unexpected album that you own, or people might come in and see and think, you know, whoa, I didn't think you would have that. Well, you know, it's Mr. Hall of Fame, so there's like a million things in my collection you can pick out to say that about. But and you know, it was really interesting too, because my work had this, we had like a little outing thing a week or two ago, and we went bowling at this place that we go to every year, and there's like a jukebox there, you know, digital jukebox, so it has like tons of songs you can select. So there was a guy who purchased a bunch of songs or whatever, and he was able to put them in on his phone. And so he's asking me, some stuff I want to put in there, and I go over there and put some money in and play a few things. And every time I did it, I would come back and people would go, "Did you pick that? Did you pick that?" He said, "You must really like that angry music, huh? You like," and I heard that like 4 times, and I thought, number one, I was like, "This is angry music." Rock, metal. I mean, I played some Black Sabbath. I played Metallica, Am I Evil? Even just like some Godsmack stuff thrown in there. But, just the fact that everyone viewed that as angry music. And I thought, it's been a long time since I've actually thought about metal or hard rock as angry. Rocking, yeah, but not angry. And so it made me think for a second. It's like, well, maybe that's the stuff that people would find weird in my collection, is the fact that I have something as basic as, like, I don't know, Metallica's "Injustice for All" or whatever. But that's just not what I think is one of the oddest things I would have. That seems pretty normal to me, actually. But what I think would be odd might be this album here, which is Kenny G Live. Very nice 2 LP set. And I say this not only for it to be just like, an odd album, but it's an album that I love. This was one of the first albums that brought me to jazz music. I think I told this story a long time ago, but back when I was in college, I never listened to jazz, never heard about it, I guess really at that point in time could care less about it. And I had a friend who had this on a dub tape, and he was just playing it one day, and I heard a little bit of it, and I thought, that sounds kind of neat. And I asked him to borrow it, and I dubbed it, and Kenny G Live was the first jazz I ever listened to. And it was this album right here. And I don't care what anybody says, Kenny can blow. I mean, the dude can play. He has skills. Of course, he's always known for more of the elevator type of jazz, elevator music type of thing. But that's also part of what I really like about Kenny or what really drew me to him even then initially, was that he'll play a song, and he's going through the motions, going through the notes, the chords, or whatever, and he'll get to a certain part, and then, like, in my mind, I would think, oh wow, if the melody would just go this, 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 and this, that would be perfect. And he would go this, 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 and this. And so I guess just for whatever reason, the way that he heard melodies and played his music or whatever else, as far as what would be the next nice thing to go with this I just played, we kind of think, like, I guess feel like this when it comes to what melodies connect. So again, cheesy music to most people, but I get Kenny, and I love him. So there. Let's see. That's nice. Kenny G on video while Terror is playing on the background. Um, the last question was, an artist whose lyrics that you really kind of relate to. And that one's actually pretty easy. The one and only Bill Withers. I'm not sure if an artist can be more down to earth than Billy. I mean, between everything, like, and not necessarily just on this album, but you have the song like "Lovely Day," other stuff. "Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone." But probably the number one for me would be "Grandma's Hands." I mean, that song damn near brings me to tears every single time I hear it, and I think probably lyrically the most powerful song that I own or know. Um, so yeah, from a lyrics perspective, it would definitely be Bill Withers, and it's just because he's just so real. I mean, it's just kind of like, wasn't trying to flash, wasn't, and even with a lot of the deep things that he shares, he wasn't trying to, put things in metaphors all the time and try to make things, so complicated and deep, and where I have to sit down and explain to you where I was in life when I was, when I created those lyrics, and what they really kind of mean. And it's like, no, a lot of his stuff is very, very straightforward. You listen to it one time and you know exactly where he's talking about, where he's coming from. And so I think him keeping it kind of real, and then keeping it as deep and as personal as he did, the man when it comes to lyrics. In second place, and if I had to do a runner-up on that, I would probably throw Seal on there as far as some of my favorite lyrics. A little more on the metaphor side with a lot of the things that he did there, but still, his lyrics I think are absolutely fabulous. So anyway, there you go, man. I think I rambled on enough, like 15 minutes here for 5 simple questions. Again, congratulations on the 1,000 subs. Here's to your next 1,000. For those of you that are not subscribed to his channel, I mean, I know I have like 4,000 something subs, and you know, if you're subbed to my channel because you dig my stuff and I really appreciate it without question, you definitely want to go over and sub to VinylCollector James. Sub to his channel too, because you will definitely love it if you like what I do. Because like I said, his collection is awesome. His knowledge about music is incredible. Great guy to know and great guy to have in your subscription box. All right, so we'll talk to you later, VC.